The quarterback room in Cleveland was never supposed to become a battlefield. But here we are, smack in the middle of one of the most bizarre, high-stakes, drama-drenched QB competitions in recent NFL memory. And the wildest part? It's not just about football anymore. It's about ego. It's about reputation. It's about legacy. And yeah, apparently it's about legal action. Because according to reports swirling out of Brown's training camp, Dillon Gabriel's camp, yes, the third-round pick, the guy who was brought in with every expectation of being a franchise's developmental golden boy, is considering legal options after being outshined, outplayed, and flat-out eclipsed by none other than fifth-round phenom Shedeur Sanders. Yes, you read that right. The situation has gotten so bad for Gabriel that his people are supposedly questioning the competitive fairness of the camp rotation. And behind the scenes, there's tension, real uncomfortable. Don't look at each other in the cafeteria. Tension, because Shedeur didn't just show up to compete. He showed up to win. And Dillon, he never stood a chance. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Let's rewind this back to where it started. When the Browns selected Dillon Gabriel in the third round, the reaction was mixed. Some called it a smart pick. Gabriel had put up big numbers in college, showed flashes of dual-threat potential, and had that grinder mentality coaches love to romanticize. But there were always whispers about his ceiling, accuracy issues, timing problems, that uncomfortable feeling that he looked better on paper than in live action. Still, the Browns gave him platform, a clear runway, the unofficial QB of the future. Then came the fifth round, a little quieter, no buzz, no press conference, just one pick that would change the entire quarterback room, Shedeur Sanders. At the time, it felt like a headline grab, a favor to the media gods. Oh, why not? Pick on a name too loud to ignore. But anyone who knew Shedeur's game knew this wasn't charity. This was a heist. And from the first whistle of training camp, it was obvious Shedeur wasn't here to sit and smile. He wasn't here to wait. He was here to take. And that's exactly what he did. The report started slowly. Shedeur looked sharp today. Sanders hit every read in 7-on-7. He's showing real poise for a rookie. Then it snowballed. Shedeur just ran the 2-minute drill better than Gabriel has all week. Veterans are talking. This kid might be the truth. Dillon Gabriel looks rattled. And just like that, the tone shifted. What was supposed to be Dillon's developmental year turned into a survival campaign. And every time Shedeur dropped a dime over the middle, every time he extended a play and hit a receiver on the run, you could feel it happening. The locker room started leaning his way. Coaches, quietly, started giving him more first-team reps. Media members stopped asking about Dillon Gabriel's growth and started asking when Shedeur was going to be named QB1. And Dillon? He cracked. To be clear, this isn't about Dillon Gabriel being lazy or unprepared. Everyone says he works hard. He's in the building early. He studies the playbook. He tries. But that's the issue. He's trying while Shedeur is thriving. Gabriel's footwork? Still a little rushed. His reads? One beat late. His confidence? Wavering by the day. And the worst part? Every mistake he makes is magnified by the effortlessness of the guy behind him. Because Shedeur Sanders doesn't just play better. He plays with swagger, with calm, with that unnerving. I'm built for this look in his eyes that quarterbacks aren't supposed to have until year 3. So when Dillon's reps started disappearing, when his media attention dried up, when even fans on social media started turning him into a footnote, that's when the whispers started. That's when word got out that his camp was exploring options, that maybe they're concerned over how transparent the quarterback competition actually was, that maybe the Browns never really gave Gabriel a chance, and that maybe, just maybe, legal action was being floated behind closed doors. It sounds insane, right? But when you're watching your NFL future unravel in real time, while a guy taking 2 rounds after he becomes a franchise darling overnight, sanity doesn't always win. Let's be clear, nothing official has been filed. No lawsuits, no statements. But where there's smoke, There's almost always a quarterback in trouble. And the way Dillon Gabriel has looked lately, he's not just in trouble, he's in free fall. And Shedeur, he's in orbit. It's not just the throws. It's the tone, the vibe, the way veterans light up around him, the way the sideline watches when he's under center, the way fans now show up to camp wearing his number. He hasn't just stolen Dillon's job. He's stolen his narrative. And that's lethal in the NFL. Because once your story shifts from future leader to the guy who got benched by a rookie, it's almost impossible to flip it back. And right now, Dillon's story is being rewritten at warp speed. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is sitting at the center of a cultural explosion. He's got the name, the swagger, the social presence, the game, and now he's got the leverage. Because the more he balls out, the more it becomes clear that this isn't a fluke. This is what was supposed to happen all along. The league just didn't see it coming. And now that they've seen it, they can't unsee it. So where does that leave Dillon Gabriel? Stuck between trying to salvage his role and trying not to get outshined every time Shedeur breathes. Stuck between playing nice and pushing back. Stuck between competing and panicking. And honestly, the legal stuff, if it's real, probably isn't about courtrooms. It's about desperation. It's a message, a last-ditch attempt to regain control over a situation that's spinning out faster than anyone expected. But it's also a symptom of something deeper. Shedeur's takeover is happening too fast for the system to process it. Because this isn't just a QB competition. This is a collision between two football worlds. One, where you wait your turn, pay your dues, and earn your job slowly. The other, where you show up ready, deliver on day one, and dare the system to stop you. And right now, the second world is winning. So what happens next? Well, barring a miracle turnaround, Dillon Gabriel is sliding into backup territory or trade bait if another team thinks they can salvage him. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is flying up the depth chart, owning every opportunity, and turning a maybe he'll develop narrative into a how soon can we build around this guy frenzy. The Browns have a choice. They can try to slow play this, manage reps, split snaps, keep everyone happy. Or they can recognize what's unfolding right in front of them. They didn't just draft a quarterback. They drafted a movement. And movements don't wait. So to all the fans caught in the crossfire, ask yourself this. Do you want the guy fighting to stay relevant? Or the guy forcing the league to adjust? Because this QB battle, it's already been won. Dillon Gabriel just hasn't accepted the outcome yet. And Shedeur Sanders? He's already warming up for week one. All right, if you're still with us, then you already know this story isn't slowing down. This isn't your typical rookie versus veteran quarterback shuffle. This is something else entirely. A story about momentum, image, and inevitability. A clash of confidence and control. Because Shedeur Sanders hasn't just taken Dillon Gabriel's spot. He shattered the old script of what a quarterback competition is supposed to look like. And now, the fallout is beginning to settle, and it's getting messier by the day. Let's talk about the emotional undertow, not the stat lines, not the arm angles or passer ratings or ESPN graphics. Let's talk about what this feels like for both of these guys. Because if you strip away the noise, the brands, and the headlines, what you've got is two young men in the same room, fighting for one spotlight, and only one of them can keep it. Shedeur walks in cool, calm, and unbothered. He's not carrying weight. He's creating gravity. He speaks like someone who knows the cameras are on, but doesn't feel the need to perform. He's been groomed for this moment. Yes, but he's also earned it with how he plays. Every drill, every snap, every time he threads a needle in red zone drills, he's proving that this isn't hype, it's reality. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel is over there doing what he's been told to do his whole career. Keep his head down, grind. Don't complain. But here's the cruel twist. Sometimes hard work is enough. Sometimes, no matter how much film you watch or how early you show up for lifts, you get outshined by someone who just has it. And watching it happen in real time, in front of coaches, teammates, and the entire internet, that'll mess with your head. By week 3 of camp, insiders say Gabriel's body language had changed. The energy wasn't there. The hesitation was obvious. He wasn't making decisions. He was trying not to fail. And when a quarterback's playing scared, it shows. You can feel it in the huddle. You can see it in his eyes when he walks off the field after stall drive. And that, right there, is the final domino. Because once the players stop believing in your ability to lead, it's over. The wide receivers start mentally checking out. The linemen stop digging as deep. The coaches, whether they say out loud or not, start giving the other guy more leash. And when that other guy is Shedeur Sanders, you don't get your leash back. And this is why things have reached DEFCON 1 in the quarterback room. Dillon's not just losing a job. He's losing control of the narrative. And when that happens, desperation kicks in. That's where the legal threats come in. Because let's be real, no one files lawsuits over fair competition in training camp. That's not what this is. This is an SOS. It's a panic button. A way to shift the story just enough to make people pause and ask, wait, is this fair? But even that's not working. Because deep down, everyone knows it is fair. Shedeur's just better right now. That's the ugly truth. And the NFL, for all its politics, is still, at the end of the day, a meritocracy when the pressure gets high enough. And the pressure in Cleveland? It's molten. The fans are already voting with their voices. Go to training camp and listen. It's not "Let's go Browns" anymore. It's "SHEDUR" chant on third down. People bringing homemade signs, wearing Colorado gear. Kids yelling his name like he's been on the team for years. And Gabriel, he's getting polite applause, respectful silence. The kind of reception you give to a placeholder. That kind of energy shift can be walked back. And if you think it's just the fans, think again. Coaches aren't saying it publicly, but behind closed doors, they're talking about transition plans, about how soon you could roll Shedeur out as the starter without blowing up the locker room, about how to soften the landing for Gabriel if Reed, when the change becomes official. And yeah, maybe Dillon could be a backup, maybe he could get traded, but the moment this thing turned into a story, a narrative, a meme, his career arc in Cleveland ended. Even if he stays on the roster, the team is already mentally moving on, because that's what happens when a guy like Shedeur steps in, not just to play, but to take over. And Shedeur's doing it everywhere. On the field, commanding. In the locker room, respected. In the media, magnetic. In public, already a fan favorite. And that last one, that's the game breaker. Because NFL teams can try to play the stick to football card all they want, but when a player has the public behind him, when he owns a conversation, the engagement, the buzz, that influences everything. Sponsors, jersey sales, national media coverage. Even the way the rest of the league views your franchise. Suddenly, Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He's a storyline. He's culture. And you don't bench culture. You build around it. And as for the whispers of legal action, please, nobody's buying it. Not when the results are this clear. Not when the eye test is screaming. Not when even Dillon Gabriel, deep down, probably knows it's already done. So what's left? Damage control. The Browns front office will try to spin this as a healthy competition. They'll say the reps were split fairly, that every quarterback had a shot, that Shedeur earned his way forward. And they're right. But none of that's going to make it easier for Gabriel, who went from presumed future to afterthought in less than a month. And the fans? They've chosen. The media has chosen. The teammates have chosen. There's only one thing left to do. Name Shedeur Sanders the starter. Because at this point, you're not saving face by waiting. You're just delaying what everyone knows is inevitable. And Dillon? Maybe this ends up being part of his journey. Maybe he rebounds elsewhere. Maybe he finds a system that fits him better. But right now, this team, the system, this moment, it belongs to Shedeur. And if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, it's this. When Shedeur Sanders wants something, he doesn't ask for it. He takes it. All right, let's keep this train moving. Because Shedeur Sanders hasn't just started a quarterback battle. He's ignited a full-on identity crisis for Cleveland Browns. We're deep in training camp. And the storyline that started as a quiet curiosity has now snowballed into the dominant narrative. This isn't about one good practice. It's not about an underdog having a lucky day. This is about a rookie walking into an NFL facility and taking full control of the moment, the room, and soon, the franchise. And while Shedeur rises, Dillon Gabriel is watching the ground shift beneath him. Let's be clear, this isn't even a traditional quarterback controversy anymore. That implies uncertainty. This feels more like a slow-motion, public, painfully awkward handoff. And the only people not ready to admit it are the ones still clinging to the pre-camp plan like it wasn't just lit on fire. It's over. The hierarchy is done. The only reason Shedeur hasn't officially been named QB1 is because Cleveland is still pretending they have options. They don't, because the more they try to balance things, to be fair, to protect Gabriel's confidence, to respect the depth chart, the worse it's going to look when they inevitably make the switch. Let's not forget, Shedeur wasn't just a fifth-round pick. He was an afterthought in a quarterback room that was already stuffed with narratives. Flacco, the seasoned vet. Gabriel, the developmental pick with athletic upside. Kenny Pickett, the castaway looking to rebuild his rep. There wasn't supposed to be room for Shedeur. And yet here we are just a few weeks into camp, and the team is already running damage control on a kid who's doing too well. That's the craziest part. Usually, teams are scrambling to find someone who can take over, someone to flash, someone to show signs. Cleveland? They're scrambling to manage someone who's delivering faster than expected. Imagine that. Imagine being so conditioned to quarterback dysfunction that when a guy finally shows up and just flat out wins a room, you panic because it's happening too soon. That's the Browns right now. Trapped between the excitement of finally having a real QB and the fear of admitting the plan they spent the offseason selling was flawed from the start. And yet, it's uncomfortable, because Gabriel isn't some slouch. He's not a locker room problem. He's a high-character guy, hard worker, respected in college, and genuinely liked by the staff. But this is the NFL, and the league doesn't care about your resume. It cares about results. And that's where the chasm lies. Because Shedeur isn't just outperforming Gabriel. He's doing it with clarity, with confidence, with an energy that this team has been missing for years. You can see it on the sideline. When Shedeur throws a laser on third down, teammates get up, they react, they feel it. You can't coach that. You can't manufacture that. That's presence. And presence is what wins games when the margin is razor thin. It's what Gabriel is missing, and why this isn't a true battle anymore. The whispers about legal action, about unfair rep distribution, those aren't tactical maneuvers. They're emotional responses. Desperation disguised as principle, and they reek of someone trying to make sense of a situation where the answer has already been decided by performance. Let's talk about the pressure on Shedeur for a second. Because yeah, he's making it look easy, but it's not. He didn't walk into a quiet QB room with nothing to prove. He walked into a storm. He walked into a franchise that has burned through young quarterbacks, that's torn through systems, coordinators, and fan hope with the efficiency of a paper shredder. He walked into Cleveland, and instead of folding under that weight, he's standing tall in the center of it. And while Gabriel's reportedly considering his next move, internally or externally, Shedeur is still doing what he's been doing since camp opened. Showing up, delivering, and saying nothing. That might be the most impressive part. He's not feeding the drama. He's not running to the media. He's not tweeting cryptic nonsense. He's just playing. And that's what makes it so obvious. You don't have to sell Shedeur. The tape does that for him. Gabriel? He's stuck in the worst possible place a quarterback can be. Visible but forgettable. He's playing, but no one's talking about it. He's showing up, but not showing out. Every throw is followed by a shrug. Every decent rep is drowned out by the next highlight from number 5. And when a quarterback starts feeling that, when he senses a crowd, and worse, the team leaning towards someone else, that's when confidence crumbles. You want to know how you can tell who your quarterback should be? Look at the huddle. When Shedeur steps into the huddle, it's quiet, intentional, focused. He calls the play once. Everyone hears it. Nobody's confused. When Gabriel steps in, you get hesitation, uncertainty, guys glancing toward the sideline. You can't fake control. Not when 10 grown men are relying on you to get it right in 40 seconds. And that's what this comes down to. Not hype, not potential, not who won in what round. Control. Shedeur has it. Gabriel doesn't. So, how long are the Browns going to pretend they don't see it? What are they waiting for? A bad preseason game from Gabriel to make it easier? A viral moment from Shedeur to give them the PR cover? A locker room revolt? Here's a wild idea. Just trust what you're seeing. Just admit that a fifth-round rookie came in and outplayed everybody. That he won the locker room. That he moved the offense. That he looked like a quarterback who's ready now, not in some imaginary future. It's not complicated. It's just uncomfortable. And that's what separates the smart teams from the ones who get stuck in 20-year quarterback spirals. Smart teams adapt. The Browns? They're on the edge. Again, will they finally choose a player over plan? Will they stop trying to manage Shedeur and start building around him? Because if they don't, if they keep pretending that Gabriel is still in this thing out of respect for the depth chart, they're going to lose more than a few games. They're going to lose a moment. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not a moment you want to waste. So what now? If you're Dillon Gabriel, you probably take a breath. You reassess. You figure out what kind of quarterback you want to be without the pressure of a roster or breathing down your neck. Maybe that's as a backup. Maybe it's in another city. But it's not here. Not now. If you're the Browns, you make the announcement. You stop hiding behind rotations. You let Shedeur take the offense in full and start getting him ready for Sundays. And if you're a fan, you enjoy the ride. Because this is what it looks like when a star is born. It's not always clean. It's not always fair. It's rarely quiet. But it's always worth watching. Let us know where you stand. Team Gabriel or Team Shedeur? Is this overblown camp hype? Or are we watching the future unfold in real time? Drop your take in the comments, hit subscribe, and stick around. Because this quarterback drama, it's far from over. But if you've been paying attention, you already know how it ends.